All right, I think I am live on Facebook. I am unable to go live on YouTube, so I am trying to set it up so I can record this to post to YouTube. Give me 1 second here. Looks like Brandon's here. What's going on, Brandon? Thanks for dropping by. Heck yeah. Looks like Joseph is here. What's going on, Joseph? Thanks for dropping by. Looks like Michael is here. What's going on, Michael? Thanks for dropping by. I'm trying to get this recorder going. Bear with me, folks. All right, has to update, of course. I know I'm about a minute late, but I'll give people another minute or two if they want to jump on. Looks like David's here. What's going on, David? Thanks for dropping by. I'm actually getting comments this time. That's awesome. I'm kind of mad that I didn't get them last time. Or they weren't showing up last time, I should say. Camera. Is this gonna work? I think so. All right, let me try to hit record. All right. I think I'm recording now. So I'm live on Facebook and I am recording for YouTube. That's interesting. It's doing an interesting little effect where it's blurring everything around me. I don't know why it's doing that. All right, guys, I guess I can go ahead and get started. So for tonight's office hours, I want to kind of go over some bad news, unfortunately, and I'm just going to get right into it, and then we will discuss a little bit more of the details. I'm not sure exactly when, but coming up here fairly soon, I think ViralStacking is going to go offline. Now, I'm probably going to have the domain go to my ViralStacking blog for the meantime, but I have several reasons, none of which are really excusable. I guess there's no really amazingly good reason, but I do have several reasons that I'm going to end up having to take it offline. That being said, I would like to relaunch it at some point in the future. I'm not sure when that's going to be. But I'm going to go ahead and give you just a little bit of backstory, and I'll go ahead and say up front, if you want to call these excuses, you can call them excuses, you can call it cop-outs, you can call it whatever you want. It is what it is. I'm just trying to be honest, transparent, and let you know what's going on. First and foremost, I'm having a lot of problems with the script. Most of you know who I am with. If not, you can message me privately and I'll be happy to tell you. My site is experiencing a lot of downtime, and it's very, very frustrating when I send paid traffic to that site and the site is down, because I can't get a refund for that paid traffic when the site is down and I'm sending paid traffic to it. And that's very, very frustrating. It's a huge waste of money, which honestly I don't have. I don't have that kind of money to just be throwing out there at a website that's going to be offline when I'm sending paid traffic to it. So that's very, very frustrating. The person that is hosting the site is not being very much help, and I've realized that it's time to move on. I can't stay with that person that I'm using the hosting for, which is the same supplier of the script. The script is extremely limited. I can't really do a lot of the things I want to do with it. Anytime I ask about doing something with it, it's either, oh, I don't know, I have to talk to my programmer, or no, we don't do that. It's no willing to work with me whatsoever. I really don't feel like the price that I paid is worth what I'm getting when it's such a dated script. I kind of tried to talk myself into it being, Brandon says, agree the script is not helpful. When I first got it, I kind of tried to talk myself into the belief of, well, it's a very common script, so it's very familiar, so maybe people will like that because they'll feel familiar with it, and they'll know what to expect, and it won't be different and hard to navigate, etc., etc. But as things go, let's see, I'm getting a message that's saying on Facebook it's not showing me as live, but yet I have people commenting. Hold on a second. Why am I not showing up? I'm not sure what to say. Hopefully it'll show me live eventually. It shows me as being live now, and I'm seeing the comments. Either way, that's why I'm doing not a screen capture, but a recording, so I can post this not only to YouTube, but I'll be able to post it to Facebook as well if for some reason this Facebook Live doesn't show. So thank you for letting me know. I don't know if there's a whole lot I can do about it right now, but I do appreciate the heads up. Where was I? So yeah, the site was familiar. It's like a lot of websites we're using about 15 years ago, and frankly, it's just very, very, very dated. It looks like it hasn't been updated. And they do have little add-ons that you can get, but I kind of want to get away from it completely, just because I have such a bad taste in my mouth about it now. I mean, even if the site didn't look so dated, even if the site performed beautifully, there's still just tons of downtime. And unfortunately, I think the hosting and the script is kind of a package deal. And frankly, I'm kind of sick of both of it. So I'm not sure how much longer I will be continuing that. I mean, it'll probably run through at least the rest of this month of May. We're about at the end of the month now. I'm not sure how far into June it will go. I really don't see it going past the end of June at the latest. So looks like Jen's here. What's going on, Jen? Thanks for dropping by. Okay, Joseph says he's seeing me live. I appreciate that. So yeah, I think ViralStacking is going to go off the air. Jen says definitely working on a new script. I've talked to a few different suppliers of different scripts. There's still several I want to look into and talk to the owners. So far, it's not been very encouraging because there's either a bit of a language barrier, and that's fine. I don't have any problems, with people overseas or, speaking a different language than me. I have no problems doing business with those people. But if you can't understand each other, it makes it very hard to do business. And another one of the people that I've talked to danced around every single question that I asked. And that does not give me a very confident feeling. I really hesitate going into business with somebody that can't give me a straight answer to my questions, especially if they're yes or no questions. And I mean, some of that, I guess maybe you could chalk up to a little bit of a language barrier. It still makes me really hesitant to pull the trigger with those specific companies. Now, like I said, I do still have a few I want to check out. But I haven't made a decision on that as far as what route I'm going to go that ways. And another thing I want to bring up is I'm going to be completely honest. Viral stacking has not grown like I wanted it to. It has not grown like I thought it would. And I think there's a few reasons for that. Joseph said, that's why we talked this morning, tried to get rid of the frustration. Yeah, going through a lot here. Hold on, I still have a bit to go. I'm not done yet. So viral stacking has not grown like I had hoped it would. And I take that blame upon myself. Number one reason being is that I'm having a hard time coming up with a traffic strategy that's easily multiplied by other people. Jen said also, I'm sure you want to see what language it's programmed in to make sure it's the most efficient. Yes, absolutely. And to be honest, I haven't even got to that stage yet, but that is definitely going to be involved in the final criteria with, whatever decision I end up making. But I'll talk more about that here in just a second. So I'm having trouble coming up with a really good traffic strategy that's easily copied by other people. And to be honest, because so many programs have come and gone and fallen and failed, and it's really hard to find solid programs that stick around for a while, especially ones that pay anywhere remotely decent. So that's been a huge setback as well. I'm not going to name any names, but there's a lot of programs, many of which are owned by one single person, that had a rug pull out from under them, and that screwed me and my following over a lot. And I'm not going to blame all the failure of, Jen says, or closed and stole people's money. Yes, that's exactly what happened with a number of programs. Absolutely. And I'm not going to say that's the entire reason that viral stacking has failed. There's a lot more to it than that. That's definitely a big part of it. But there is more to it than that. But, that's one of the things I believe that has hindered viral stacking is, programs that have well-known owners that, let's be honest, they're serial scammers. And again, I'm not going to name any names. If you're really curious, you can ask me afterwards and I'll be happy to tell you. Most of you can put the dots together. I'll ask you not to put any names in the comments right now. Please and thank you. But, it's one of those deals where fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And so I'll take a lot of the blame for that. So now I'm kind of looking at going a different direction with the viral stacking strategy in general. I really want to stay away from programs with ad packs. I don't like the fact that ad packs, shares, whatever you want to call them, whatever phrases that, the cool, oh, and it looks like my recording has stopped. Oh well, I'm still on Facebook. I'll have to see what I can do with that. I'd like to get away from the whole ad pack thing. And it sucks that, you have ad packs expire and fall off, and then you feel like, you're having to buy them just as quick as they fall off, and there's really not much to withdraw. I don't really like that strategy for income. Now, for advertising, it's a little bit different. Jen says, Better Bits all day long, the only program that has remained ethically run through the years. Yes, 1,000%, Jen. Brandon has done an amazing job with Better Bits, and he's always under-promised and over-delivered. I have absolutely zero complaints about that. So I have nothing to say bad about Better Bits or Brandon. Hats off to him. A decent admin that I wish there was more of, to be completely honest. So I am still involved with CryptoWin. CryptoWin is a program that's, your basic rev share that does have ad packs. I'm really tempted to even drain my account of that. I'm working with a couple different KuCoin strategies that I like. I know not even crypto exchanges are safe. Any crypto exchange can go down at any time. Even those are risk. There's risk in anything involved with crypto. It is what it is. However, I think it's a little bit more sustainable than the rev share model. We'll just put it like that. And also, you don't have the ad packs continuously falling off. So, you can continue building on what you're earning. So I think that's a little bit better route to go in the future. With the help of my buddy Ivan, that you may have seen posting in ViralStacking, him and I have been talking quite a bit recently, and I think we've narrowed it down to some really good PTC and faucet sites that give you a really good bang for the buck when it comes to time spent. There's a lot of programs out there that act as PTCs and faucets that they may have a lot of different ways to earn, but what they're paying you per click is just so low. You could spend an hour on it and end up with like maybe 2.5 cents, and it's not really worth it. So I think we've come up with a pretty good game plan of our seed coin generators, I'm going to call it. Those of which being right now are AdBTC and CoinPayU. I really like CoinPayU and AdRevSplit. I think those are probably my top 3 favorite seed coin generators. If there's one of those you're not involved with, please feel free to either contact me or your sponsor in ViralStacking and ask them for an affiliate link. I think if you're going to try to do a lot of this stuff with nothing out of pocket, those are 3 sites that you should really be concentrating on and spending a lot of time on. And because those will, in my opinion, give you some of the best bang for your buck for time spent. Now, it's still going to be peanuts. It's still not going to be a whole lot. But compared to a lot of the competition, I think your time is a lot more well spent there. Again, that's just my own humble opinion. Ivan shares a very similar opinion with me, and that man goes through and tests PTC and faucet sites like a crazy person. Like he's the person I wish I could be when it comes to how diligent he is about testing those things. So I have a lot of faith in what he says. I have a lot of trust in what he says. I feel like him and I have a lot of the same mindset when it comes to those type of programs, like, what's worth your time, what's not, what's a little bit too risky, etc., etc. Jen says, ViralStacking is the only ethically run downline builder I've seen through the years, and I'm excited to see ViralStacking 2.0 when it's revealed. Thank you. I do want to talk a little bit about that, and I want to kind of tie it into one of the reasons that I feel like ViralStacking didn't succeed the way I wanted it to. Some of you may or may not know, I launched ViralStacking in 2018, so it's been online now for about 5 years, give or take. And I honestly wish and thought that it would grow a lot bigger in that time. What I'm realizing now is that even though there's a decent strategy in ViralStacking, and even though it involves some programs that ended up having rug pulls, I still think the overall stepping stone strategy that I like to call it, where you earn your seed coin, and then you graduate to more and more earning programs till eventually a lot of it's passive, I still think that was a really good idea. I still think it was a great theme. And I know this sounds a little bit like I'm kind of patting my own back, but I didn't see a whole lot of that until I did it with ViralStacking. After I did it with ViralStacking, I started seeing very, very, very similar strategies, like borderline identical copycat strategies. Not going to say any names. A lot of places. So I think it was, I'm not going to say it was groundbreaking, because I think, a lot of people had been using similar ideas. But using that stepping stone strategy in a downline builder, I was looking for a downline builder that was doing something like that I could start promoting, and I looked and looked and looked and looked, and I really could not find one that had what I was looking for, which is why I started ViralStacking in the first place. Now it seems that anybody that's promoting any kind of crypto has a stepping stone strategy that uses almost the exact same identical programs that I'm using, and some people are actually even charging for that strategy, which is just special. So, at the risk of patting myself on the back, I still like the idea. I still think it's a good idea. I think it's somewhat innovative and something that the market needed at that point. I think that's proven because a lot of people have started doing the exact same thing. However, I do believe it was lacking something. It's lacking a reason to bring people back to the site. A lot of people, they go through the site, they go through the training, and in my opinion, I thought it was very well laid out training. I thought it was very thorough training. Joseph says, if I were to teach the strategy, I'd give proper attribution. David said, no faucet on ad rev split. No, they don't have a faucet. They're more of just a PTC site. Not every site that I use has a faucet and a PTC. Some are either or, some have both. But I really like the PTC section of ad rev split. I think it's a very, very good example of how a PTC site should be ran. So props to Marty on that. I don't know Marty. I've only spoke with him very briefly once or twice. I'm honestly not even sure he knows who I am, and that's fine. But I have a lot of respect for him. I have absolutely nothing bad to say about Marty. He has a lot of websites, and I think I'm a member of most of them. I don't really use a whole lot of them, and it's not because they're bad. It's just I don't really particularly use a whole lot of them. It's just as simple as that. But I think they're all run very well. I like the network he has. It's very well laid out. It's very smart. I think he has a great network. I don't really consider him a competitor because I think we go about things a little bit different way. But I really like his site, Ad Rev Split. I think it's just run phenomenally. It's one of the best PTC sites I've ever seen. It's very clean, very simple, very profitable. And not many PTC sites can say all those three things all at once, and he can, so hats off to him. Tim's not familiar with that one. It's a basic PTC site, but they pay pretty good. So, in addition to all those things, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail on this part because this part is kind of personal, but I'm going to be extremely honest with you guys. My health has been deteriorating really, really fast this last year or two, and it's not something I really want to get into, but I'm spending a lot more time going to different doctors, different specialists. I'm losing more weight, and I'm not really a huge guy to begin with, so it's very frustrating. It takes a lot more of my time. It takes a lot more of my energy. I don't think I have the focus that I did when I started ViralStacking because I'm dealing with so many health issues right now. And so that's really taking a toll on me. It's taking a toll on me, and because it's taking a toll on me, it's taking a toll on ViralStacking because I can't give it the focus that it deserves. I can't give it the focus that the members deserve. I really, really value my members a lot more so than a lot of people, and I say that because a lot of marketers will choose products based on the commission structure, not on the value of the product, not on the value of what that product is going to do for the average person, but just based on the commission structure. If they know they have a big enough following, they know they're going to make good money on it. And I made a video about a matrix recently that kind of fits that bill. It's promoted by people that have a large following that really aren't concerned about what it's going to do for the average person, but the commission structure is good. And I'm not that type of person. You can say it's me patting myself on the back if you want, but I think it's been proven over and over again that I don't choose programs based on the commission structure. I choose programs and platforms and strategies that I think are going to help the average person the most. I always think of the person that does not have any referrals, that does not have a following, does not have a YouTube channel, does not have an email list, does not have a huge Instagram account. I look for strategies and programs and platforms and products that will help the average person try to better their life financially, mostly through crypto. That's my goal here. Yes, I would love to make money. I think pretty much every marketer's goal is to make money. I guess I go about it in a little bit different way, and I'm going to be honest with you. It's not the most profitable way. It's not the most profitable way at all. I have had multiple big-name marketers tell me, and I'm not going to name names of these either, that's why I'm failing in marketing, is because I'm thinking too much of the user and not enough of the commissions. And it takes everything in me not to out those people's names, but it's not really worth it. It's not really worth it. So I hope you agree. I hope you would agree with me on that and say that, yes, I really put forth the effort to try to limit what I promote to things that I think will actually help people, help the average person. Jen says, at least the work will continue with the blog while ViralStacking adapts and is reconstructed. Yes, absolutely. Couple other setbacks I had. Most of you know this. I did have a YouTube channel called Arkham Industries, and that's the parent company of ViralStacking. And I had about 2,300 people on that YouTube channel. It finally got to a point. It had taken several years. I think I started it when I started ViralStacking back in 2018, and it took several years, but I was finally starting to see a lot of growth on the YouTube channel. I was starting to see a lot of traffic. It was sending a lot of traffic to my links. It was sending a lot of traffic to viralstacking.com, and YouTube deleted my channel. And let's see, Jen said, it turned into a giant circle jerk of dudes that have overinflated egos, unfortunately. Yeah, that was another issue. Yeah, that didn't have quite as much to do with the YouTube, but yeah, that was a whole other issue. But YouTube deleted my channel. And you might ask, why, Dan? Why did YouTube delete your channel? They screwed you on that deal. And the answer is, I don't even think YouTube knows. And the reason I say that is because they can never keep their story straight. The first answer was that I was promoting gambling. I've never even mentioned gambling, much less promoted it. And there's like plenty of YouTube videos and channels about poker and gambling, and so that didn't really make a whole lot of sense. And then they said it was due to secured assets, and then they said it was this, and then they said it was that. And I went every single route you can think of to try to get it back. I went through every channel I could. I went through every help you could. I went through every chat you could. I talked to several people that specialized in it. I had several people trying to rip me off, saying they specialized in it. Spots and they refused to. Yeah, the basically the chat you get is just bots, and you don't actually talk to any real people. You can't actually talk to anybody in charge. You can't actually talk to anybody that gives you a real answer. So yes, Google screwed me on YouTube. I lost, in my opinion, for me, a very large channel. Now, to most people, under 3,000 subscribers, that's not a big channel. But I was starting to see a lot of growth with it. I was starting to see a lot of success with it. I had it monetized, and I was starting to see income with it, and that was helping pay for advertising as well. Jen says, there's freaking crimes. Yeah. Crimes and porn on YouTube, but the bots let that slide because it causes clicks. Yeah. I don't think this video is going to be able to go on YouTube because my recording stopped, so I'll say what I think it was. I think it was when I was talking about free Bitcoin and I was talking about fun tokens. I believe it was that T word that actually got me, because they've got me on several videos about that and given me strikes, and I always waited until those strikes disappeared before I talked about it again, and I never had more than 1 or 2 strikes at a time, but I still got my channel deleted. It was not deleted because I had 3 strikes, I guarantee you that. I always made sure that I never got close to that 3rd strike, but it still got deleted. That screwed me over a lot. That cost me a ton of traffic. I try to look at it as a good thing because I need to come up with another method of traffic that other people can do. I need to come up with another method, another strategy for traffic that somebody that does not want to do YouTube can do. Jen says, have you considered a podcast format? I really have not. I haven't really looked into that. I have a few friends that do podcasts on different subjects. I haven't really looked into it because I feel like, I don't know. I mean, I never really got into the podcast thing. A lot of times I'll just listen to YouTube videos and not have to watch the video in order to get it. And I feel like, that's kind of like my version of listening to a podcast. I used to listen to a few of them. There was a couple websites that did them that talked about dork stuff like comics and stuff like that I used to listen to, but I haven't done that in years. So I mean, it's probably something I do need to look into. I have a couple buddies that do it. I probably need to ask them what the best way to get started with that is. Yeah, and I mean, if I'm already gonna do these lives, it makes sense just to record it and maybe have that content be on yet another outlet. Another way that Google screwed me, and again, I'm not trying to make excuses, just trying to be honest with people and let them know why things are the way they are. My blog, ArkhamIndustries.net, was hosted with HostGator, and HostGator is absolutely horrible. They are so bad, so much downtime. Nobody there speaks English. Brandon says, I think Dan will do better with podcast than website. Very possibly, very possibly. I don't really have, I think, that great of a voice, but who knows? I mean, I haven't tried it, so I can't say yay or nay. Jen said, appreciate your full transparency always. So, my blog, along with my website, ViralStacking, was down quite a bit due to terrible hosting there. And, gosh, it took forever to get that canceled. And Arkham Industries was done on WordPress. And WordPress is great. WordPress, Joseph says, I use Hostinger, never had a support ticket yet. I don't think I've heard of Hostinger. So there's a lady here locally, actually, near where I live, that supplies hosting, and I moved Arkham Industries over to her hosting, and the service was great. The uptime was always there. It did cost a little bit more than HostGator, actually quite a bit more, but you get what you pay for when it comes to hosting a lot of times, is what I've learned. And it was worth the hosting, but the deal was, like, I wasn't really bringing in enough in AdSense on Arkham Industries to pay for the hosting as much as it cost. So I said, okay, well, I just need to set aside that hosting for now. And since I'm having to rebrand the YouTube channel, a new YouTube channel as ViralStacking, I'm basically going to rebrand another blog as ViralStacking. And I'm going to do it on a free platform, and I'm using, blogger.com. Jen says, might be worth getting your own server and hosting your own site in addition to others. I've looked into that a teeny bit. Servers are super expensive. I'm not sure I'm ready to jump into that just yet. David says, with social media today, you don't really need a website. A lot of people would argue with that, and a lot of people would argue against that. I can see a lot of pros and cons to both. So basically, I moved a lot of my content over to blogger.com and started releasing the same content on that. However, what I find very interesting is, even though it's pretty much the same content that was on ArkhamIndustries.net, AdSense will not approve me on blogger.com, even though Blogger belongs to them, and it's the same content that they saw fit enough to approve on ArkhamIndustries.net. So I lost my monetization on my YouTube channel that YouTube deleted, and I lost my monetization on my website because I moved it over to a Google platform. So I got screwed over by Google twice there, pretty good. Jen says, I'm sure you know some people that would be happy to build a blog script for you. Brandon says AdSense is not worth the attention. AdSense really doesn't pay you a whole lot. I was not making a ton on it by any means at all. It's just still frustrating because there's no logic behind it. Like, it's the same content you approved before, and now that it's on your platform, you're not approving it. It's frustrating. I have some other ad networks going right now, but a third excuse, if you want to call it, is Aweber was getting way too expensive for me. And due to my health declining, I am unable to work as much. So my income has gone down, and that's one of the reasons I decided to cut a lot of costs. And so I decided, okay, I'm going to get rid of Aweber. I still have it. I still have the free account if you have less than 500 subscribers. And I decided I was going to move everything over to the Leads Leap SendSpeed. And I talked to a lot of people before I did that use SendSpeed and said, yeah, the delivery is actually really good. It's, right up there with Aweber and GetResponse and stuff like that. So I said, okay, I'm going to do that. But I don't really have the... It doesn't really make sense for me to spend the money to upgrade at SendSteed just yet. And due to that, I'm unable to import my list of over 7,000 people that I had on my Aweber. So I don't have the YouTube reach, I don't have the blog reach, and I don't have my email reach. Now, granted, I do still have my email list. Whenever I'm able to pull my strategy a little bit more together, I will upgrade with SendSteed at LeadsLeap and then be able to start importing my list at least 500 people at a time. That's how they do it. So, it won't be too long after I upgrade where, I can get the vast majority of my 7,000 list going through SendSteed. And when that's the case, I'll be able to actually do a follow-up series and start sending traffic to my blog, which will make some of these other advertising revenues that I'm using on my Blogger blog hopefully bring me a little bit more income. Joseph says, Google is seeing your content on Blogger as duplicate from your original blog. It's all database. That was my first thought, but that's not what they're saying. They're saying it's not quality content. I've seen YouTube videos of people that say where it won't work for duplicate content, but that's not what it's saying for me. It's saying it's not quality content. And it's frustrating why it would be considered quality on one, but not on another, even though I'm using my exact same email address for it, my exact same AdSense account. So Google should know it's me and know it's not duplicate content, and know it's just me moving my content to another platform. So it's very, very frustrating. And I don't want to come across as just making all these excuses, but I'm just trying to be honest and transparent and tell people what's happening. So I've had quite a few hits this year. Most of this has happened in 2023. Jen says, I wonder if they're saying it's not quality because they're flagging it as duplicate. That is a possibility. That's crossed my mind as well. I've just seen other videos of people when it is duplicate, Google will specifically say they aren't going to allow it to have AdSense because it's duplicate. Now, maybe they've changed. Maybe they're just calling it all not quality now, regardless if it's duplicate or not. That might have been an older video. They might have changed their terminology. If using the same email, Joseph said that makes some sense. They're getting more difficult when it comes to content. So, not really going to rely on AdSense. Like Brandon said, it's not really that worth it. It really doesn't pay that well, at least on blogs. YouTube, the YouTube Partnership Program, which is part of AdSense, it can pay pretty well. It just depends on the amount of views you're getting, which at a time, I was getting a decent amount, but then my YouTube Partnership income always dropped every time I got a strike, and I couldn't post for 7 days. Let's see. Brandon says, I see your video on Facebook and YouTube, duplicate content. I don't know if that would do it. Most of the time I'm posting videos on Facebook, they are YouTube videos. Like the only videos that I put that are exclusive to Facebook are the office hours like this. And I don't really post those on my blog, so I'm not quite sure that would be the case. Maybe there's something I'm missing there that I'm not seeing the logic there, since this is really the only Facebook exclusive videos that I do is the office hours. So that's a lot of the reasons that ViralStacking has not grown the way I wanted it to. And so I'd like to ask you guys what you would like to see in ViralStacking 2.0. I want to throw out some ideas, hopefully get the creative juices flowing, so to speak, and maybe, cause you guys and girls to think of some other ideas as well. Maybe it'll spur some new ideas. I see that power lines are the popular thing these days. Almost everything everybody's promoting these days does have a power line. So that's an idea. There's several scripts that can utilize that. Jen says March Madness style program head-to-head. So the power line's cool, and I see the attraction of it because that means that, even the person that doesn't join right away, even the person that isn't first, they can still have a lot of people helping them earn. David says, I love when you review new faucets. Jen says, discuss the ugly truths to save others from being ripped off. I try to do a lot of that as well, and I get a lot of hate about it. It's so funny. Like, I get a lot of people that message me on Facebook out of the blue that I've never heard from before, and they're like, hey, I want you to review such and such a site. And I'm like, all right, if that's what you want me to do, and I'll review it, and I'll see a lot of red flags in it, and I will say those red flags and give my opinion on that site. And then they message me back all mad. I'm like, you asked me to review it. You asked me to give my opinion on it. Anytime, I'll go ahead and say it here. Anytime anybody asks me to review something, I really enjoy that because it gives me new content to make. But I can never guarantee you it's going to be a positive review. If I see a lot of red flags in a program, I'm going to mention those red flags because I don't want other people to get hurt. Now, maybe I'm wrong about some of those red flags, and sure, maybe I am wrong about some of those red flags. And some of those times, there's been a lot of times actually, more on my old channel that got deleted, so I can't really prove that. But a lot of times I'll come back and say, hey, I was wrong about such and such a part. I still think this and this are a red flag, but on this part, I was wrong about that. So I try to be very open and honest about that, but when I see red flags, I gotta point them out, because I hate seeing people get hurt. Money's not easy to come by, especially if you don't have anything starting out and you're trying to do a lot of it with nothing out of pocket and, generating your own seed coin. It takes a while to generate enough seed coin to actually do much with. And if you put it into a program that's just going to scam out in 6 months, you've lost all that time generating all that seed coin, and now you got to do it over again. So I really try to prevent that with people. I've had pretty bad experiences attempting to do collabs with other program owners. Brandon's a great program owner. Edwin is in this Facebook group. I don't think he's watching this because he's on the other side of the planet, and I think he's sleeping right now. Edwin has his own downline builder that's very similar to ViralStacking, and I'm so sorry, Edwin, the name is escaping me right now. But if you want, find him in the Facebook group. Tell him that I told you to go ask him about his downline builder. I think it's set up really great. He said himself that it's not a copy of mine, but he said it was inspired by mine. And I like that. I like when people do that. I like when they say, hey, you inspired me to start marketing and, try to get referrals as well. Because that's the whole goal of this. I want to, teach people what I've learned so far, and I'm not a professional by any means, but basically I'm just kind of chronicling my journey, telling people what I've done that has worked and telling people what I've done that hasn't worked, so maybe some people can avoid some of the mistakes that I made. Let's see. Jen says, I hate people claiming to be a mentor only to stab you in the back and screw people over for their profit. Jen said, I didn't know that. He seems pretty solid as well. Yeah, Edwin's a great guy, and I've told him and Brandon both that, they're pretty much the only program owners that have been very, very, very pleasant to deal with, and no shadiness of any kind, which unfortunately is very, very rare in this industry. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say about that right now. So I don't see myself doing too many collabs in the future, and if that costs me some business, that's fine. I'm not too worried about it. I got to do things my way. I got to tell you, I'm not a big fan of authority. I don't like people telling me what to do. I don't like people trying to hold ultimatums on me. I would rather take the hit, not be a huge marketer, not earn $1 million, and do things my way. Which is trying to come up with stuff that I think is going to help the average person. Is that not as profitable? Probably not. Definitely not. I can guarantee that. But you know what? I sleep a little bit easier at night. A lot of people don't care. That's just me. So I hope, I've been rambling for a really long time. I usually don't have this much content to talk about for 45 minutes straight. Jen says, absolutely, not like some out there that want you to push their product and get upset when you ask the managing partner about their, yeah. David says, my friends are all so old that when I try to explain crypto to them, they stare at you like you're trying to summon the devil. Yeah, to be honest, David, I really don't talk to many people in person about crypto. Like, I post funny memes about it on my personal Facebook page, because I love crypto and I find it interesting, but I really don't start many conversations about it. Like, very few people know that I do viral stacking just because I don't talk about it in person. Jen said, do a podcast about the crazy shit you have encountered through the years. Very, very tempting. Very, very tempting. I feel like I would need some kind of, I hate to even use the word mentor, but I need somebody to introduce me how to do podcasts. I wouldn't mind it. I'm not usually a very talkative person in real life. Most people would say that I'm very quiet. But I can talk a lot if it's a subject that I'm passionate about. Like, if it's about pew-pews, if it's about Batman, if it's about cars, if it's about trucks, if it's about crypto, I could talk until the cows come home. There's very few subjects that I am talkative about, but crypto happens to be one of them. So maybe I need to take advantage of that. But what I was starting to say is I really hope this hasn't come across of me just whining and crying and saying, oh, poor me, blah, 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 blah. I like to be really open and honest with my following. I don't even really like saying my following because it makes it sound like I'm patting my own back in a PG phrase. Whatever you want to say. The people that read my stuff, the people that watch my stuff, whatever you want to call yourselves. Stackers, I'll say viral stackers. I really try to be open and honest with stackers. I try to be honest about what's going on, what I'm doing, and not try to... More pew-pew. Safety is important. Brandon, I love me some pew-pews. I am a huge, huge fan of pew-pews and the rights to have them, and that's all I'm going to say about that right now. But another reason I try to be honest with people is I see not just marketers, but social media people in general. I guess the influencers is the word that's used nowadays for people that have large multimedia social media followings. And mine's not large at all, but the people that I do have on my social media, I feel like a lot of people they put forth this impression that they're always happy all the time and life's so great because their business is so great and that's why you need to join them, et cetera, et cetera. And it's really hard for me to swallow that. Jen said, not at all. You're adapting to be better, help others, which requires you to keep up with the times. You adapt, regroup, and come back stronger than ever. I like to use the analogy of, I know not everybody that watches this is from the United States, but most people will have heard of the United States Revolutionary War against the King of England to become their own country. And of course, the leader of the United States and the general in the army was George Washington. Most people know that name. There was one battle, I forget exactly what battle it was. I want to say Valley Forge, but I think that's just stuck in my head. I'm not sure that's right. General Washington had about 2 or 3 horses shot out from under him, shot dead. The horse fell. He fell off the horse while he was in battle. And every single time, just get back on a new horse, get back out there and keep fighting. And that's the attitude that I'm trying to have with viral stacking. Google has dealt me several blows. Aweber has dealt me a blow or two. I've gotten some blows from other places as well. My health is definitely a big blow. That one's really hard for me to accept. I really have a hard time accepting that one. But they're all blows. They're all horses being shot out from under me, and I'm just going to keep getting back on the horse and keep fighting until one of those bullets happens to hit me myself. So shoot as many horses as you want. I'm just going to keep getting on another one and keep going. That's kind of the way with the blog platform. That's the way with the YouTube channel. I think I sat and sulked about it for a month until I started another channel, named it ViralStacking. I'm really trying to go that branding this time. That's what you got to do. That's what you got to do. So hopefully this didn't bore too many people. I know I'm not usually this personal and open up this much because, I figure most people don't really want to hear about too much of the personal stuff. Most people just want to hear about making money. Let's see. Jen said, no horses were harmed in the making of this video. Joseph says, sometimes adversity breeds success. In the long run, just look at it like shit happens. Yeah, Joseph, that's been a big lesson to me most of my entire life. Just learn to accept that shit happens. There's not a whole lot you can do about it. You just have to keep moving on. That's about all there is to it. There's a lot of shitty people out there that are going to really screw you over. They're really going to F you over and not give two cares about it. And in the meantime, screw over a lot of people as well. But you know what? You just got to keep going. You just got to ignore those people and be like, you know what? Whatever. Just keep going. Keep doing your thing. Learn your lesson. Learn not to trust them again, and keep moving. Brandon said, I love this live chat. Thank you, Brandon. I really appreciate it. Anybody else have any questions? I've been monologuing for a really long time here. Like I said, I usually don't monologue this long of a time. I usually don't open up and pour my heart out like this, but this video's been a long time coming. So I wanted to be open and honest with everybody. I'm glad, at least some people showed up to hear what I had to say. I did want to go over a couple more ideas I had for a new viral stacking. First of all, I want to say, Jen said, appreciate the honesty and openness. I do want to say, at this point, I already told you, I'm not positive when this one's going to go down, probably sometime next month. I have no idea when I'm going to be able to open up another one. It'd be great if I could do it by like the end of the year, maybe early next year. It'd be great if I could do it for New Year's of like 2024. But to be completely honest, I don't know. I really have no idea. There's a lot of stuff up in the air. There's a lot of stuff that needs to be figured out before I move forward. But I did want to throw out some ideas that I just kind of have floating around my head. The power line's one thing. I know a lot of people like a power line. There are ways to incorporate that into a script. I've seen a few different people that can do it. That's something I'm considering. I do need to have a way to bring people back to the site. And one way that would be really good at that is to do a subscription service, kind of like the, I don't remember the name of it. There was a matrix I reviewed a little while ago that had a subscription service, and there's one program that's now defunct and gone. I think it was called My Bitcoin Daily, and basically it was a subscription service where you pay X number of dollars, and each day you get X number of banners, X number of text ads. So it drew people back to the site every day to, fill out their advertising and post that advertising. And I'm thinking, okay, I like that idea. It brings people back to the site. And the reason I want people coming back to the site is because then more of the advertising gets seen. And the more the advertising gets seen, the more people get results. So the more traffic you have coming to the site, the more people's banners and text ads and everything like that get seen. You can give somebody 1 million banner ad impressions. You can be generous as hell and give somebody all the banner impressions in the world. But if nobody's coming to the site, it doesn't really do them a whole lot of good. So you really have to be able to kill two birds with one stone to offer people value if you're selling them advertising. I know I've been guilty several times of seeing what a good deal some advertising is somewhere and then throwing a whole bunch of money at it and think, oh man, I'm going to get so much traffic, I'm about to get rich. And then only to realize that that traffic trickles in so slow that it's going to take 10 years to be able to, have any results from it. Brandon, Mark is not actually the person I'm talking about, but I've asked people not to mention any names in the comments in this live. Mark has screwed quite a few people over, but that's not what I'm talking about. So I'm not going to answer yes or no to any other names. Jen says, love your shirt, Camp Crystal Lake. Oh yeah, you know it. I want to be a staff at Camp Crystal Lake. Jen says, I'll tell you, send me a message. Where was I going? Oh, yeah. Things to bring people back to the site. So the subscription-based advertising, I think, is a decent idea. I might be able to work like a subscription-based advertising into a power line. It might be like, I noticed a lot of these subscription advertising is like over 300 days or something like that. I don't know if it would make sense to maybe do it a little bit shorter than that. Do it for like every 30 days, and every day you get more advertising. Brandon says, my bad, but he is doing better these days. I wrote him off years ago and recently came back to him. As far as Mark's sites, I do still use some of his sites for advertising. I think the way he has some of his sites set up for advertising is pretty good. One of the sites I like for advertising is Turbinance. I really like Viral Banner Ad Co-op that he had, and Turbinance is what replaced that one. And it's kind of nice for those of you that don't know. It's basically a way to have your banner show up on a lot of sites all at once. Like, you can get 1 million banner impressions at one site, but if there's only 2,000 members of the site, those same 2,000 people are going to see your banner a lot of times, and a lot of those impressions really aren't going to be worth a whole lot. But you can put that code from Turbinance in there, and it'll spread it out over a few hundred sites, so you get a lot more people seeing the same advertising. I just don't rely on Mark's programs for income, because even though he does always pay, the programs that have income incorporated into them always end up changing the rules. Always something that changes. It never stays the same. Something always changes, and it's never good for the user. So I've written off trying to use his programs for income, but I do still like some of his programs for advertising. I think he has a big network of sites, and the way he has Turbinance set up, if you use it, the way I'm using it, in my opinion, it works very well. So that's another thing. I've also thrown around the idea of a matrix. A lot of people seem to like matrices. I've never been a huge fan of them, and the main reason that I don't like most matrices is I feel like you really don't get much for your money. And if I was going to do a matrix, I would really want to try to blow that out of the water. I would really want to try to give people a lot more advertising for their dollar than other sites are offering. Like, most sites are offering 300 banner impressions for your $5 matrix position. It's just, it's so insultingly low. I saw one that was offering 50 banner impressions per spot. And I'm like, oh my goodness. People that promote that kind of stuff make me mad. But I don't know, I've kind of thrown around the idea of maybe doing a matrix in the future, but actually making it worth your while. And if you were to get in early, obviously as more people under you buy it, it would act kind of like a rev share, even though it wouldn't be, and you'd be able to buy more advertising with those earnings and still get a lot of bang for your buck. If you wanted to buy several positions under yourself, you get a crap load of advertising and probably end up getting back a lot of that money just from your own commissions from yourself. There's been some websites let me rewind and try that. There's been some websites out there in the past that were set up as matrices, matrices, whatever the word there is, that offered you a pretty good bang for your buck as far as the money you spent in the advertising. And I made a lot of use of those websites because I would just buy all these positions under myself, and after a while I was able to buy more positions just from my own commissions of me buying positions under myself, but I didn't feel like I was losing money because I was getting a lot of advertising for that money. Those sites are no longer around, so I can't really recommend them or anything. But I have seen them like that do exist. So that's something else I've kind of been throwing around as well. I do want to set it up where people have the option to add at least one of their own programs at the end. I've gotten a lot of requests for that in the past, and at first I didn't really want to do it, and I don't know, I had talked to my script provider about it, and he was like, well, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, okay, it's not even worth arguing about. But I would like to have that available in the future because I know a lot of people have asked for that. Ideally, I don't think I'd want to, just because I don't like the idea of people putting a really scammy, trashy program into ViralStacking and then giving ViralStacking a bad name. But I would just have to be very, very, very clear, like, this program here is what your specific sponsor recommends and is not necessarily endorsed by ViralStacking, something like that. So I'd love to hear input on that idea as well. I think that's most of the ideas that I've had that have kind of been floating around my head. I know Marty has a site, and I think it's Team VIP Build. Please forgive me if I have that name wrong. And I think it's a paid-only site. I think it's like, $50 a month or something like that. But it's a really neat idea that he sends out emails on your behalf. Like, they have your name and your links in them. And I really like that idea. I think if, somebody was going to upgrade, that would be really good value to offer that person. Brandon says, like, leads leap upline messages. I don't know if it works exactly like that or not. I think I know the way the leads leap upline messages work. I don't know if it's exactly the same. Hopefully someone will correct me in the comments later and let me know if it is or not. It's a service that Marty offers that I just kind of found out about somewhat recently. I've seen some other people that I know for a fact don't do any email marketing, and I see their emails coming through with their name on it and everything, and I know it's Marty that's sending them out. But they're done so well, most people would never know. Joseph said, it's nothing like that. I've seen this before. Okay, yeah, Joseph, you probably know more about it than I do. I thought it was kind of different as well. Joseph says it is. He probably knows more about it than I do. But yeah, I think it's very interesting that, I see emails coming from people that I know for a fact don't do any of their own email marketing. But Marty does it so well, you genuinely think it's from that person. And there's nothing wrong with that. I don't think that's like disingenuous or anything like that. I just think that's a very smart service to offer. I probably would not offer that for free members. It'd probably be a way, that you'd have to be upgraded. That's another thing that screwed me over. Not only did PayPal cancel my account for having it hooked up to ViralStacking, but then coin payments went out of the USA, and you could use it to pay for stuff. You can use it to accept money for stuff, which is really freaking stupid. And I never got around to getting other processors set up. And, that's my fault. I should have been more on the ball with that. But I just didn't really feel like I had enough to offer to charge people a lot for other, upsized memberships. And that's one of the reasons why after PayPal canceled me and after coin payments did their thing, that's a big reason why ViralStacking was completely free, and still is, for so long. It's just because I didn't feel like I had enough to offer the upgraded members. Now, there's quite a few people that I upgraded myself, out of my own pocket. I put them into the highest level, the VIP, where I put them into my ViralStacking rotator, and I gave them referrals. And I think that's a good thing for a VIP, but I wasn't able to give them enough to really charge what I felt like I needed to be charging for it. So that's another reason why ViralStacking just stayed free for a while. So if you guys get nothing else from this long-winded video, hopefully you understand that I really try to give people a good bang for their buck, because there is no shortage of people and programs out there that will gladly take your money and give you almost nothing in return. So I don't want to be like that. I would rather not charge, if I don't feel like I have enough that's worth it, than to be charging and people be like, oh, I'm not even getting my money's worth. That's not me. That's not the way I want to do things. So I want to make sure that there is a way to upgrade ViralStacking in the future. Probably only going to have one upgrade. I don't know that I'm going to do these multiple levels of upgrades. It's probably just going to be either you're a free member or you're a paid member. That's it, one or the other. And, the free member is going to have a lot of stuff, and the paid version is just going to have a phenomenal amount of stuff. that you get with it. So that's kind of the route that I'm going. I would really love to hear more feedback. I know there's so many people on the live right now, but even if you're watching this not live, you're watching the replay, please feel free to either leave me more comments on this of your ideas for what you would like to see in ViralStacking 2.0. Please feel free to message me on Facebook and let me know what you would like to see in ViralStacking 2.0. I think when I do release it, when I do re-release it, it's going to be very, 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 very simple starting out. And as time goes on, I'm going to add more to it and add more to it and add more to it. But I want to have it all planned out. Like, I want to know everything that I'm going to add to it. But, say, okay, each month I'm going to add one more thing to it, one more step to it. I want to have that all planned out and all ready, but just not unveil it all right away. So hopefully that makes sense. But again, I really want to hear you guys' ideas, guys and gals. I really want to hear what you have to say. What do you like about ViralStacking? What do you not like about it? Don't worry, you're not going to hurt my feelings. I've already heard all the insults about it already. So you're not going to tell me anything I haven't heard before. So please give me the good, the bad, the ugly, whatever you want to say. Does anybody else have any questions tonight before I wrap this up? Nope. All right, that's probably going to wrap it up then, guys. That is well over an hour of me sitting here flapping my jaws. So thank you for those of you that stayed as long as you did and offered input. Brandon says, I hope you plan for the unknown. See more. Do I tap this to see more? Be exciting to see what you have in store for us. Jen says, thank you. You're very welcome. Thank you all for coming out, and look forward to hearing from you in the future. Thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it.